Here comes a new challenger!
Hello there everyone, and welcome to a video about Byleth, as it's been a year since the character came out, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on the character, not from a competitive aspect, but how they were revealed and the reaction to that character, because a lot of people have been hating on Byleth again since it's been a year, so let's talk about it. In my opinion, do I think Byleth was a bad choice for Smash? Definitely not, especially since this time, unlike with Corrin, Three Houses was already released all over the world, and so people had a chance to understand who Byleth was, or at least understand the world of Three Houses, at the very least, before the character was announced and released for Smash. Now, I do think that the way they revealed this character was poorly done. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, right now, what I'm going to do for you is that I'm going to play the trailer up until Sophis says join Smash, and here's a timestamp if you want to skip past that part. But what I want to do is I'm going to change something about the trailer. I'm going to change something about the trailer up until that part, and I want you to catch a glimpse or get an idea. What do you think I changed? What do you think I changed to make it different from the actual trailer? So we're gonna change something about it. All right. So imagine this was like the first time you ever watched this trailer. All right. And let's see, just tell me what do you think I changed. Just tell me what do you think I changed. Write down in the comments below.
The time has finally come to unleash the forbidden spell of Zaharas upon our enemies!
What were you thinking, charging right into an enemy's trap? As you and I are one, I too am trapped within this void. In time, our hearts and minds will cease to be. Are you prepared to die? I thought as much. I also do not wish to die. And yet... there is no other choice. You must join Smash.
Huh?
Join Smash Brothers already! What in the world are you waiting for?
Could you tell what I changed? If you didn't, well, I took away the Smash logo in the beginning. And I also made sure that Sakurai wasn't there in the beginning, unlike, well, when Byleth was first revealed. As Sakurai was the first person we saw, and he was basically saying something along the lines of, if you don't end up enjoying the character, don't hate, or something like that. If it's not a character you expected. I feel like he kind of felt the premeditated hate towards Byleth, and that's why if you go to the Byleth presentation, from what I remember, that portion of that reveal it's not there anymore, which is weird. Definitely weird, come to think about it. But it is what it is. So yeah, all I did was take away the Smash logo in the beginning. And if you think about it, if it was from the view of like a Nintendo Direct or something, right? Then it would be weird, wouldn't it be? Like the trailer, yeah, it's Byleth for Smash. At the end of the day, people aren't gonna like that. But I feel that if the trailer was revealed this way, it definitely wouldn't have gotten the amount of hate that it did. Because, for instance, we're all kind of getting into this idea that, we're getting a Smash character, and this Smash character will be the last one of the first Fire Pass. They want to make it special and all this and grandiose, but up until Byleth, we had third parties. Joker, Hero, Banjo, Terry. Obviously, Piranha Plant was DLC, but I'm just talking about the pass in itself. And then we have Byleth, who's the first party. In my opinion, I think, this is what I believe, I don't think Byleth would have gotten the same amount of hate if that trailer was played without the Smash logo and in a Nintendo Direct. Like, oh, obviously you'll be expecting what's going to be the Smash thing, but at the very least, we won't be told. It's like, oh, like Sakurai said, if you know, the moment you see the trailer, you'll be able to tell who it's going to be right from then and there. And yeah, no, I think the way the trailer was presented, it definitely feels like the way it was directed, they did not want to reveal this trailer this exact way. I feel they wanted to reveal this trailer without the logo and like some sort of direct, because then once you get to the Smash, like join Smash part, it's gonna be, you know, that's when all the music kicks in and that's when it gets all weird, like crazy, you know, Byleth in the game, bada boom. It, you know, whereas with how they chose to do it, we had this build up and it ended up with a character not a lot of people wanted. Or was that really the case? I feel like even with that being said, Byleth still got way too much hate. After all, Three Houses was pretty beloved, all things considered. In 2019, Game Awards decided to do a fan vote, in which case the fans, the gamers, could choose to who wins for that, well, specific category. And the winner of that was Three Houses. Mind you, up until that point, up until round 3, Smash was winning #1 the entire time. Three Houses was able to keep up, along with a few other games, but it was mainly Smash that seemed like, oh, this one's gonna be the winner. But then, out of nowhere for the final round, Three Houses wins. It's quite clear to me that when it comes to this character's inclusion, it was definitely one of those, if you played Three Houses, you love the character's inclusion. And if you didn't play Three Houses, well, either you'll be with it, or you'll hate it because you're tired of Fire Emblem getting representation. In my opinion, I think the trailer was still a bad trailer regardless, because it feels like, okay, so you have the first half with male Byleth, and then you have the second half with female Byleth. Now, if you're wondering why they chose to do the trailer that way, it's because female Byleth has a different name in Japan. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Either way, the part where it gets to the second half of the trailer, they make it seem like, oh, like, if you do an up special or forward special, whatever, you get like a different, like a weapon change. But that's not the case at all. All it is that all your forward moves, you know, your forward moves are your lance, your upward moves are the sword, your down moves are the axe, and your neutral moves are your bow. But even then, they don't stay true to that, because your rapid jab uses the sword of the creator, and so do all your tilts. So it's only your smash attacks and aerials that follow that rule. And even still, I feel the way they handled it was pretty lackluster. In my opinion, I think that it should have been a weapon change. It makes sense, because in Fire Emblem, when you attack someone with a weapon, you're usually stuck with that weapon during enemy phase and hope that you don't lose a unit. At least that's how it typically is. I don't know if Three Houses changed that, but I highly doubt they did. And even then, a weapon triangle doesn't really exist in Three Houses now, doesn't it? But even still, you're stuck with that weapon. And so, in my opinion, at least from how I see it, I think that you should have been able to have a weapon class system with Byleth. But that is clearly not the case. That's not what they went for. And the way they did go for it, I think hinders the character's potential. I think Byleth would have been a much more unique and interesting character if Byleth was solely focused on the Sword of the Creator. Because, yeah, we have swordsmen in Smash, sure. But we don't have a whip swordsman in Smash. Oh, no, 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 no. We don't have that. So by having a whip swordsman would have definitely been a very interesting character. It kind of feels like Byleth was supposed to be a different fighter altogether. A lot of people say it, and I think that in my heart of hearts, in my opinion, I do think that Monster Hunter was definitely used to create Byleth. I mean, everyone says it, right? When you play Byleth, it feels like you're playing a Monster Hunter that's not actually a Monster Hunter. And in my opinion, that is basically Byleth. A Monster Hunter that's not a Monster Hunter. And it's so... it sucks. It's bad, in my opinion. I think, me personally, this is how I view it, I think Byleth would have been a much better off character if not have been for that and that alone. I think that Byleth, if they'd focus solely on the sword, would have been a much more unique character than what we ended up getting. Because even though people will preach about having different weapons from Fire Emblem, let's face it, an axe is just a slower sword. I mean, we already have quite a number of bows, and a lance is just, well, I mean, it's a lance, but that's really about it. You could definitely make something more unique with a character with a lance than you could with an axe, in my opinion. I mean, Ike is basically an axe fighter, which is funny because Ike has proficiency in axes and Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, but whatever, that's not the point. The point is, Byleth was definitely a character held back, in my opinion, because I feel like Sakurai and his team were like, we don't want to make this just another swordsman, because people are just gonna hate it. But in a way, because they wanted to make Byleth different from other swordsmen, they kind of made him less unique than other swordsmen. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard for me to explain, but I definitely think Byleth was held back because of the use of the other 3 weapons. But hey, that's just me, right? Either way, I do think Byleth, like a potential, with how the trailer was, it was definitely done bad. Like I said, it definitely would have been better if they presented it with the way that I presented it. You know, probably could have gone a bit better. That's just me. That's just my opinion. You can hate my opinion if you want, but that's my opinion. For me, yeah, it is what it is. I think Byleth was also in like a bad spot because if Byleth was meant to be like the 5th character, let's put it that way. Like, let's say Byleth was supposed to be in the base roster, was pushed over to DLC, and they were like, well, 3 Houses was delayed, so let's delay Byleth. Byleth, you know, just ended up becoming the 5th character because of that. Byleth was basically doomed to be hated because, well, it's a Fire Emblem character, not a lot of people like those, and, you know, Byleth had to follow up amongst the other third parties. And even still, you know, when it came to competitive play, a lot of people talked about how Byleth just feels so much weaker than the other 4 characters that we got, like Joker, like Hero, even Banjo. People consider Banjo mid-tier. You know what I mean? Terry, an example. I think that the first parties, in my opinion, get too much hate nowadays because they're first party. They're not third party. People want more third parties than they do first party at this point. They're just kind of upsetting because there are still definitely first party characters I would much rather have than other, well, third parties. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, first parties are owned by Nintendo. You kind of expect them to be there at some point or another, but there are definitely some first parties I would much rather have than some third parties. You know what I mean? But with that all being said, those are my thoughts on Byleth 1 year later. I feel really bad for the character because, again, I don't think Byleth deserved the hate that they got. You know, Fire Emblem 3 Houses was clearly a game that is beloved by its fans. Byleth was just in a bad time with a meh trailer, with a moveset that was definitely held back by the fear of making him just another anime swordsman. And that's what upsets me. If I was Sakurai, I definitely would have just stuck with the Sword of Creator. If I was handling the trailers, I would have just put in a direct. I would have made Byleth, I would have switched Byleth with Terry. Or something like that. You know, it's upsetting, but it is what it is. And I hope we don't get another situation like this, where it's just bad timing and all this sort of stuff. With the second Fighter's Pass, we have Min Min in the beginning. Obviously, people are saying we could get another first party. And while that's true, I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think that it has a high likelihood of happening. The reason why I don't think it's happening is because I think with how the pass works, they would want to split the revenue between companies. I don't know if like Nintendo wants to like just like take most of the pot for themselves. I don't know. Nintendo's weird. Nintendo's weird because I mean most of the third parties that we got in Smash don't even feature, or most of the games aren't even featured on Nintendo platforms. I find that funny. Like most Persona games are not on Nintendo systems. Obviously, we have Shin Megami Tensei, but you know, Persona has sort of become its own thing, even though it is a spin-off of SMT. SNK, I mean, you can get like SNK classics anywhere, but the best versions of those games are not on the Switch, that's for sure. What else? Banjo-Kazooie, you can play it on Xbox. The only one that's like true Nintendo out of all the third parties is Hero, Dragon Quest. Because even, you know, FF7 is more so associated with Sony. And Minecraft is, well, it was always like a PC game at first, and then Microsoft bought it, but most people still play Java Edition. So I don't know. I just find it funny that people talk about having characters that are closely associated to Nintendo, but most of the DLC we gotten doesn't follow that rule. Oh well. It is what it is. But yeah, I was getting off in a weird tangent. But yeah, I hope that maybe someday Byleth gets buffed in Smash, because as a character, I've already talked about Byleth. I've made 2 videos on Byleth, competitively wise, and my thoughts on the character in a competitive sense, so you can watch those videos at the end. I'd rather you watch the second video, which is the one I'm gonna put on the outro, but still, if you want to watch the other one, you'll find it. It's not that hard. With that all being said, take care of yourselves, guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, whatever the case may be. Be safe out there, and let's get to 1,000 by the end of the year. Peace!
Coming through, partner, we can do this right. You're the fire, I'm the wind tonight. Burning dread, haha, that's right.